Hi, my name is Rachel and this is the 5th video in my Korean speaking series. Now, the grammar in this video is going to be based off of some of the previous grammar, so if you find it a little bit confusing as we get going, then you might want to go ahead and check out some of those videos first. Now, when it comes to verbs in Korean, there are actually 3 types of verbs, and I think that by far the easiest to conjugate are the hada verbs, so that's what we're going to do today. And if you don't know what I mean by hada verbs, then just stay tuned because I will explain in the video. This video is a bit longer than my previous videos, but we're actually going to stop practicing the hada verbs at this point right here, and everything after that is just going to be extra practice with previous grammar that we already know. And then if you want some practice with some longer sentences or a bit faster practice, then you can also jump ahead to the practice round right here. As always, please pause the video as much as you need and take all the time that you need to answer each question, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so hada verbs in the present tense. What do I mean by hada verbs? Well, first of all, hada means to do. So in English, when we say something like to study, to practice, to call, to do laundry, to swim, some verbs in Korean, instead of saying to study, they'll say to do studying. Or to practice, they will say to do practice, to do a phone call. To do, well, I guess that one's the same, huh? To do swimming. This is not all verbs that do this, but a lot of them do. So to do studying in Korean is 공부하다. 공부 meaning studying, and 하다 being to do. To do practice, 연습하다. 연습, practice, 하다, to do practice. Now, just to talk about the pronunciation really quick, 연습하다, this piep combines with hiet, so the pronunciation becomes piep, and so the pronunciation of the entire word is 연습하다. 연습하다. Okay, to do a phone call is 전화하다. To do laundry, 세탁하다. And again, the pronunciation here, 기억, combines with hiet, and it turns into kiet. So the pronunciation of the whole word is 세탁하다. 세탁하다. And lastly, we have to do swimming, which is 수영하다. Okay, now there are other verbs in Korean where we don't have to use the word do. Like, for example, to eat, 먹다, is just to eat. It's not to do eating. Or to drink, 마시다. Or to jump, 뛰다. You could just think of these as a different type of verb, but something that they all have in common is that they all end with da. This is their dictionary form, and this is how you will likely learn it in the first place. But today we're just going to practice the hada verbs, and we're just going to put the other verbs in this soccer ball right here, and get that out of here. Okay, now to put hada verbs in the present tense, the first thing that you're going to do is drop da. And then we're going to add 여, 하여. Now, 하여 is combined together, and it's actually far more accepted to say it as 해. Both of these are correct. 하여 is more for official texts or road signs or something that you might see in grammar books. And 해 is the spoken version, but it's also okay in writing. Like, it's not incorrect to say 해. So 해 is still correct too. And 99% of the time, you will say and hear it as 해. So that being said, in a nutshell, you could basically say that hada just becomes 해. So let's go back to our list that we had earlier and conjugate each of these into the present tense. Starting with to study, 공부하다. First thing we need to do is drop the 다, and then 하 becomes 해. 공부해. To practice, 연습하다 becomes 연습해. To call, 전화하다. 전화해. To do laundry, 세탁하다. 세탁해. And to swim, 수영하다. 수영해. Now this here is the casual form. This is the form that you would use if you were talking to your friends or to children or to someone who you have agreed to talk casually with. But just to stay consistent with what we've been practicing in the polite form, we're going to go ahead and make this polite. And in order to make all of these polite, we are simply going to add 요 to the end of each word. So repeat after me. 공부해요. 연습해요. 전화해요. 세탁해요. 수영해요. Okay, let's start with to study, 공부하다, and let's make some sentences. So, I study. First, let's start with I. In the polite form, I is 저, plus the topic particle, 는, 저는. Study. 공부해, make it polite, 요. 공부해요. 저는 공부해요. Now, if we wanted to make this casual, we would simply change 저 into 나. Plus the topic particle, 는. 나는. 나는 공부해. 나는 공부해. Now, throughout this video, I'm going to be giving you all of the sentences in polite form, but you are still free to practice in casual form if you prefer. It's completely dependent on what exactly you're learning Korean for. Okay, so here are the 5 words that we are going to use for the rest of this video. Feel free to pause the video here if you want to write them down, but I will also have them here in this little chart for a little while, and because this is kind of ugly looking, we're going to go ahead and add to clean, 청소하다. Okay, let's get some practice in. I do laundry. What do you think? 저는 세탁해요. 저는 세탁해요. I clean. 저는 청소해요. 저는 청소해요. I practice. 저는 연습해요. I call. 저는 전화해요. I study. 저는 공부해요. Okay, and this time without the cheat sheet. I clean. 저는 청소해요. I practice. 저는 연습해요. I study. 저는 공부해요. I clean. Again. 저는 청소해요. I study. Again. 저는 공부해요. I do laundry. 저는 세탁해요. I study. Again. 저는 공부해요. I call. 저는 전화해요. I swim. 저는 수영해요. I study. We're never stopping this one. 저는 공부해요. Okay, now do you happen to remember at, the location particle? If you watched any previous videos, we learned this in the 3rd lesson. At, or sometimes in or on, was 에서. So do you remember how to say at the beach? 해변에서. 해변에서. At home. 집에서. 집에서. At the library. 도서관에서. 도서관에서. In the kitchen. 부엌에서, 부엌에서. Okay, now you can stop the video at any time at this point. We have already practiced hada verbs with everything that I wanted to teach you about hada verbs, but I also thought that the video would end really fast, and we have an opportunity right now to see if we can make some more complicated sentences. So let's go ahead and practice how to say something like, I swim at the beach. 저는 해변에서 수영해요. 저는 해변에서 수영해요. And remember that the verb will always come at the end. I study at the library. 저는 도서관에서 공부해요. 저는 도서관에서 공부해요. I study at home. 저는 집에서 공부해요. I practice at the beach. 저는 해변에서 연습해요. Okay, and two more words that I thought could make our sentences just slightly more interesting. Morning and evening. Morning is 아침. And evening is 저녁. Now, if you want to say in the morning or in the evening, we need to add the particle 에. 에 is a new particle that we haven't gone over before, and it's how you designate time. So I don't want to say that it just means in, because it can also mean in, on, or at. Anything to do with time, like in the afternoon, in July, at 3 o'clock, at night, on Saturday, in the fall. It's a particle that we can use to designate time. So let's go ahead and practice in the morning, 아침에, and in the evening, 저녁에, with our current verbs. Okay, I study in the morning. 저는 아침에 공부해요. 저는 아침에 공부해요. I clean in the morning. 저는 아침에 청소해요. I clean in the evening. 저는 저녁에 청소해요. I swim in the evening. 저는 저녁에 수영해요. Okay, now just to get a little bit more complicated, I swim at the beach in the evening. We know that at the beach is 해변에서. 해변에서. But the question is, where in the sentence does it go? Well, we know that it can't go at the end because the verb always goes at the end. And technically, I think it could go at the beginning, but it's just a little bit awkward and out of order. So at this point, do you think it comes before the time or after the time? The correct answer is either one. As long as each phrase stays with the particle, you can put it in either order, just like we can in English. So in English, you can say, I swim at the beach in the evening. 저는 해변에서 저녁에 수영해요. Or you can say, I swim in the evening at the beach. 저는 저녁에 해변에서 수영해요. So as long as the verb stays at the end, anything in front of it can go in any order. Okay, what do you think is I study at home in the evening? 저는 저녁에 집에서 공부해요. 저는 저녁에 집에서 공부해요. I study at the library in the mornings. 저는 아침에 도서관에서 공부해요. Okay, now something to mention really quick. 저는 공부해요 is how to say I study. But if I want to say he studies, she studies, that person studies, in English, of course, we have to slightly change the verb. Something that's really nice about Korean is that you don't have to change the verb depending on the subject at all. Meaning that he studies, we only have to change the subject. So 그는 공부해요. She studies. 그녀는 공부해요. Or a bit more naturally, that person studies. 그 사람은 공부해요. In all of these, we will simply use 공부해요. Okay, now something that we haven't done yet is some 듣기 연습, some listening practice. So here's our cheat sheet with all of the verbs now. And while you listen, you have 3 options here. You can listen and just try to understand the meaning. You can listen and repeat out loud. Or you can pause the video and write down what you hear. This choice is completely up to you. If this is your first time watching this video, or if this grammar is fairly new to you, I recommend the first option, just listen and try to understand the meaning. You don't necessarily have to say it out loud in English, just as long as you can kind of visualize what's going on in your head. Okay, now I've got 7 sentences here, and I'm just going to read them one time just to save time for the whole video. Are you ready? Number 1. 저는 아침에 집에서 청소해요. I clean at home in the mornings. 저는 아침에 도서관에서 공부해요. I study at the library in the mornings. 저는 저녁에 집에서 세탁해요. I do laundry at home in the evenings. 저는 아침에 해변에서 수영해요. I swim at the beach in the mornings. 저는 저녁에 부엌에서 청소해요. I clean in the kitchen in the evening. 저는 저녁에 해변에서 연습해요. I practice at the beach in the evening. 저는 아침에 집에서 전화해요. I call at home in the mornings. Now, 2 things to note here. One is that I'm translating this in English to sometimes in the mornings with an S and sometimes without an S. There is a way to specify each morning or every morning, but I just thought it just sounded more natural in English to say in the mornings, implying that I do this over and over again, just because we're talking in present tense. And the other is that 통화하다 means to talk on the phone. 전화하다 is to call, like as in to actually press the numbers on your phone to dial the numbers. And sometimes it can also mean to talk on the phone, but 통화하다 I think is a bit more natural to say to talk on the phone. Okay, now let's move on to the practice party, which as always, feel free to pause anytime you need because this will go a bit faster. And if this is your first time doing it, it will probably be a little bit too fast for you. The first portion we are going to do speaking, and I'll keep the cheat sheet up for a little bit and then I'll take it down as we get further into it. And then later we'll do a listening section. So let's start really easy here with just the verbs. I study. 저는 공부해요. I do laundry. 저는 세탁해요. I swim. 저는 수영해요. I clean. 저는 청소해요. I call. 저는 전화해요. I practice. 저는 연습해요. Okay, now let's try without being able to see the words. I clean. 저는 청소해요. I study. 저는 공부해요. I do laundry. 저는 세탁해요. I swim. 저는 수영해요. I call. 저는 전화해요. Okay, let's move on to adding some locations. I study at home. 저는 집에서 공부해요. I study in the kitchen. 저는 부엌에서 공부해요. I practice at the beach. 저는 해변에서 연습해요. I do laundry at home. 저는 집에서 세탁해요. Okay, and now without looking, I study at home. 저는 집에서 공부해요. I swim at the beach. 저는 해변에서 수영해요. I study at the library. 저는 도서관에서 공부해요. I clean in the kitchen. 저는 부엌에서 청소해요. Okay, let's move on to in the morning and in the evening. I do laundry in the morning. 저는 아침에 세탁해요. I study in the evening. 저는 저녁에 공부해요. I clean in the mornings. 저는 아침에 청소해요. I practice in the evenings. 저는 저녁에 연습해요. And without looking, I clean in the evenings. 저는 저녁에 청소해요. I swim in the mornings. 저는 아침에 수영해요. I call in the mornings. 저는 아침에 전화해요. Okay, and now with everything all together. I do laundry in the mornings at home. 저는 아침에 집에서 세탁해요. I study in the evening at the library. 저는 저녁에 도서관에서 공부해요. I study in the mornings at the beach. 저는 아침에 해변에서 공부해요. I practice in the mornings at home. 저는 아침에 집에서 연습해요. And without looking. I study in the evenings at home. 저는 저녁에 집에서 공부해요. I clean in the mornings in the kitchen. 저는 아침에 부엌에서 청소해요. I swim in the evenings at the beach. 저는 저녁에 해변에서 수영해요. I study in the mornings at the library. 저는 아침에 도서관에서 공부해요. I call in the evenings at home. 저는 저녁에 집에서 전화해요. And for a challenge, in case you happen to remember, I talk on the phone in the evenings at home. 저는 저녁에 집에서 통화해요. I study in the mornings at the beach. 저는 아침에 해변에서 공부해요. Okay, and last we have 6 listening questions and then we are finished for the day. This feels like a lot. Let's go ahead and finish up. Now I'm going to read them just a little bit faster for the sake of a challenge. Let's go ahead and start with number 1. 저는 아침에 집에서 청소해요. I clean at home in the mornings. 저는 저녁에 집에서 세탁해요. I do laundry at home in the evenings. 저는 저녁에 해변에서 수영해요. I swim at the beach in the evenings. 저는 저녁에 도서관에서 공부해요. I study at the library in the evenings. 저는 아침에 해변에서 연습해요. I practice at the beach in the mornings. And last question. 저는 저녁에 부엌에서 공부해요. I study in the kitchen in the evenings. Wow, was that a lot or what? If you feel like this video was too long, please let me know. Or if you feel like it was too short or a good amount, also please let me know that too. Either way, great job today, and I'll see you in the next video.